Working hard there was Kitsky. Pryor emerges. Give it to Gilbert McAdam, who chips up, and Thomas, playing forward and loose once more, drives up to find Ingerson. Slips it infield to Thomas. Oh, he was under a lot of stretch. Graham, Girdham takes, gives ground to Ingerson, and he puts it up high, looking out there for Lally. Good take. Steven Lally is a one-hander. He's played a convincing role in that forward pocket. Cleverly gets around Richter, goes for goal. It could be number 3. Steven Lally puts his 3rd goal on the board, and an important first goal in this 3rd term.
Well, what a dangerous forward the Rover is when resting. Opposed to Richter, able to evade and take virtually the fingertip mark, slip the man on the mark and kick accurately. Well played, Steven Lally. Takes the Dogs further clear, back to 17 points. Big Red Reynolds opposed to Peter Bubner. Reynolds read perfectly by Johnny Painter, who's in a little bit of trouble after that kick with his right thigh. Field to Painter, off to Shackey, chipping short for Walk. That's how David Walk must play against Mark Botka. He's there for the goal sneaks role at full forward. Doesn't have the height to contest the high ball. That's Kitsky's role. Shackey clear. Controlled kick from David Walk. Just sneaking through. His 2nd. And Sturt now come back for that 1 goal for Lally for Central Districts. And Sturt 7-8-50. Central Districts 9-7-61.
The game continues in a goal-for-goal vein, and good use of the ball by the Blues then, working it out to the half-forward line. And a change in direction by Shackey after a good creative lead straight downfield into the corridor by David Walk. And a good conversion. The distance was quite long. And his 2nd goal very valuable for the Blues. Kim Russell warms up on the sidelines with Smith. And at the centre circle, Reynolds goes in against Bubner. Bubner's tapped down, Lally's kick. McWilliam has read this well. Graham in pursuit, but McWilliam plenty of time to turn and give to Whittlesey. His kick is long, but off the side of the boot, not well directed. Kickett takes, gives to Lally, then receives, drives in for Handley. He kicked blindly, dropping back as Downs. Not favoured by the bounce, but good recovery, forced to go to the boundary line. He had Reid out there, favoured by a bounce. The kick from Reid to centre wing. Dropping back, Reynolds helps it on its way. Pryor in the way for the Bulldogs. Stolen beautifully by Painter. The running Delina, he'll go for goal. Chips it up high, it won't carry. And Allen on the last line forces it through for a point. And the Bulldogs now lead by 10, the same as it was at half-time.
Well, some concern for John Painter, although it's Adrian Moskeny coming off to make way for Kim Russell. Short for Swert. And that's happened on numerous occasions for Botka to find Stephen Swert. For Bubner, once again, the athleticism getting him clear of Reynolds. To Girdham. Pryor, chipping short for Handley. Spoilt by McWilliam. Painter. Scott Russell. The loose hand pass McGrath. Field. Gilbert McAdam clear. Nonchalant ease again to Lally. Good pressure from Sturt. Russell quickly forward. Shackey and Brady. Shackey did it well. Unlucky to not win the free. Walk. Hanging on, says umpire Hilton. And Craig Brady will clear.
Craig Brady, who was shifted from centre-half back in the first quarter, has resumed there after half-time. Kicks to centre wing. Underwood tackled by Thomas, and the free goes to the Sturt wingman today, Andrew Underwood. Put there as a stopping measure, no doubt, against McAdam to kick into the centre-half forward spot. Wall of players up. Nicely tapped back by David Ide to Scott Russell, and it's a goal. Kim Russell, in fact, it was, who bent it around nicely. Straight onto the ground, a goal, and now it's the Bulldogs by 4 points.
Kim Russell coming on just moments before, interchanging with Adrian Moskeny. The numbers high, the hand pass, the reflex out, and Russell across the body. So Sturt with 2 goals in this term, fighting back to within 4 points. And that's happened almost every change. Central back into action, have broken away, and the Blues back. Reynolds opposed to Bubner. Pretty even duel in the centre. Bubner to Lally, rather Thomas. Tried to break clear, this is Lally. Gurdon. Umpire Hilton forced for a bounce down. And there have been numerous bounce downs due to the tightness of the defensive work. Reynolds, McAdam gets it out for Lally. Circles. Ingerson wide. And a fingertip take. Good movement from the centre half forward.
Ingerson from centre wing, driving and looking for Philip Graham. Knocked back by McWilliam. Scott Russell couldn't control it. Now he has. Got it cleverly over. The long hand pass came from Delina to Downs. Delina running well. Will be penalised. Oh, high tackle. Oh, piling the ball, but Delina getting the luck of the whistle and will take the kick from the corner of the square. Carl Delina having a big battle with Jamie Thomas. Kicks it wide. Kitski bounds in, reaches high, takes the mark. Beautifully positioned kick from the boot of Carl Delina, and the Blues are happy. Kitski will have a shot at goal. He's yet to open his goal-scoring account today. And a goal here would be valuable for the Blues. Not much angle to speak of. Distance will require about a 50-metre kick, but he's got the breeze with him. And he's got the distance without a problem. The accuracy there likewise. So the Blues regain the lead at the 12-minute mark of this third term by 2 points.
And Kitski, a beautiful overhead mark. But the kick from Delina was well placed, and so the big man was virtually one out. His turn to have a run on the ball. Reynolds to full forward, opposed to Allen. Well, the Blues fighting back. In front again by 2 points, having trailed for most of the game. Neither ruckman wins out. McAdam, a chance for Delina, breaking clear through half forward on the left foot. Wobbly kick. Allen in front, Shackey. Chance for walk. Bounce down again. Delina direct with pace. Opposite number Thomas going wide and sitting clear. Allen and Reynolds. Reynolds the tap. Chance now for Underwood. Bounce down centre half forward. 13 minutes into the third. Sturt by 2 points.
Left forward pocket for the Blues. Deep in attack. The Bulldogs a bit of concern. Big dump away. The kick from Scott Russell. David Eye, right forward pocket to David Walk. And his kick well smothered. And the throw in about 20 metres from the behind post at this northern end. And the Blues, with the use of the breeze which comes up, drifts off, sometimes across the ground, but still nevertheless favours that end. Pryor throws it forward. Handley reading the bounce of the ball well. Bubner on the back play. Was cleverly done, coming infield looking for Thomas, who paid the penalty of waiting for the ball to come. Silly as he kicks off the ground, giving Delina the run of it. McAdam following up. So mistakes up forward by the Blues. McAdam throws it out for Thomas. He goes infield for Gurdon. Gurdon up for Bubner from centre wing. Space to work. Graham short. He'll play on. Plenty of space. Infield is Lally. Not well dispatched. Good defensive play by Richter. Kickett gets clear. And Kickett runs through and hits the post. Oh, a let-off for the blue defence. And the Bulldogs are down by 1 point and Kickett is hurt.
Wrong decision, Derek Kickett. Loose man in the square was Lounder. Ran too far, could have put it on the boot from 10 metres out. Oh, so easy from the grandstand. Good pressure from Paul McWilliam. 1 out amongst 2. Lennon looking for Downs. And Sturt placing their kicks well. Andrew Downs at centre half back. A lot of movement from the Blues. Scott Russell, clear at centre wing. David Igg, Girdham, Russell again. But the free kick to Roger Girdham, centre wing. He's done well as a follower. In place of Renee Van Dommel, the injured skipper. High for Ingerson and McAdam. Well, wingmen are not supposed to be able to do that. What a player. Chipping short for Kickett. Opposed to Reid. Good pressure from Peter Reid. Out on that left half-forward flank for the Blues. And the Blues holding a 1 point lead.
16-minute mark of this third term. Curley with signs of concern. Lowndes tap away. Trying to work through. Lally, good defensive play. Lennon, the tackler. Keeping the ball under control. Certainly not letting the Bulldogs break loose in that forward arena. Kitski using brute force. McWilliam trying to work to the line. Handley trying to keep it in play. That was unsuccessful. McWilliam being praised by Lennon. A spot of good work. And there's an air of expectancy around this Bulldog crowd. Lounder out the back, Lally works it through. Chaplin, but Lennon stops the run. Graham going in, couldn't get the ball out. And it will be yet another bounce. Still on this half-forward line for the Bulldogs. Trailing by 1 solitary point. Lounder forcing it forward. Reid using the body well against Kickett. Out looking for Field. He's blocked in by Handley. Somehow got it around. Moved it wide. The kick from Kim Russell. Clears the centre wing area and Brady up high. Good take.
The centre half back off to Sturt. The chip for Chaplin. Danger time. Third quarter. Probing time for both teams. Sturt back with 3 goals to 1 in the third. Lead by a point. At the back of the pack, fisted forward. Richter. Graham. Been well covered today. Downs to ground. A little sense of desperation creeping into the game. Anxiousness amongst the crowd. And it's a dangerous time for both sides. Sturt runner Barry Hank told to please vacate the scene. Lounder, opposed to Kitski, wins out. But a shove, and Peter Reid off to Lennon. Wide for Whittlesea, opposed to Chaplin. Oh, good play, Whittlesea. But McGrath, Scott Russell, high, off the ground again. Intelligent but dangerous play, says umpire Hilton. And Gavin Chaplin, the penalty.
That's a good crowd here at Elizabeth. Driving across the centre of the ground. Thomas, up high, fire. Ingerson inside half forward. Well trapped. Quickly back there was Walk, and the umpire calling it a draw for a bounce at half forward right. Walk's been switched up to centre wing. Not quite, he's going back. Certainly Underwood has gone from that wing spot. McWilliam helps it on its way. Pryor should be first there. In pursuit is David Walk. Pryor gives off to Lally. That wasn't a good hand pass. Scott Field came in strongly, as did Pater. Walk takes, works inside nicely, gives it to Richter. The Blues deep through half forward. Reynolds up high, good spoil at the back by Allen. Well mopped up by Whittlesea. Good block, Sullivan. And Allen working extremely hard. The Bulldog defence is under pressure. And the umpire will call for a bounce at centre-half forward. A close encounter here at Elizabeth.
Brilliant smothering from Paul Sullivan just when Whittlesea looked to be clear. The little things win the big games. Reynolds check side against Bubner. Scott Russell getting on top of Hanley on centre wing. Kevin Johns, the central runner, bringing Mandamaker down the field and Ingerson to come off. Reynolds back. Bubner. Kickett. Eddie Hocking comes on and the crowd enjoys. Kickett. Hanging on, says umpire Hilton. And Derek Kickett, one of the awesome foursome, off to Keith Allen.
Allen goes long. Lounder in front, could spoil. The Blue defence standing firm. Wellsby working it out the back. And a free kick has been pulled out of it. It'll go to Hocking. Oh, they love him. Eddie Hocking, the magician.
Well, the awesome foursome, Philip Graham, Derek Kickett, Eddie Hocking, and must be one more.
Gilbert McAdam.
Gilbert McAdam, named the awesome foursome.
And Hocking, as he has done so often this year, thrown into the fray. Kicks a goal, he certainly does. Immediately he's on the ground at the 21-minute mark. The Bulldogs regain the lead by 5 points.
Well, Eddie Hocking, speed to the bottom of the pack, winning the free, and his accurate, controlled kick. But a lifter. The little man on, and within 30 seconds, a goal. A switch hitter. Neil Curley using his rover intelligently. Sturt's turn. Kitsky and Bubner. Bubner favoured by the bounce. Whittlesea. Bubner cannot break clear. Downs off. Sturt did that well, controlled his opponent. Bubner. Graham is clear. Reid backs up. Back to McWilliam. Good body strength. Chance for Wellsby there. Put the ball to ground for Graham. Now he uses his speed and evasion. Circles. Back to two Centrals players. Chaplin. Sold the dummy well. Centres. And Steven Lally, the player. Good ball control by the Dogs. Going across the ground. Kick at the chance through centre, half forward. The dummy, the shot. Piercing kick. Kickett's first, has had his chances, but eventually his first goal on the board. Central Districts, 11 goals, 8, 74. Sturt, 9 goals, 9, 63.
Well, certainly a touch of thinking on the part of Chaplin and Lally. Firstly, Chaplin giving ground and Lally across field, and then something special about Derek Kickett. He really had to go, and he ploughed that one through low for his first. The Bulldogs by 11. And this time Kitsky gets the tap. Eye works it over. Whittlesea drives deep through half forward. Brady's in the way. Drives the Bulldogs back to the centre of the ground. Mandamaker is out at centre half forward. Hocking working through, left it behind. Mandamaker shovels it out. Thomas across to Hocking. He'll go over the top. Well blocked Richter, but Hocking backs up. Infield for Thomas. A screw punt up the side of the boot, and Lounder. Well out in front of Lennon. Richard Lounder lines up for goal number 3. So the Bulldogs could well have turned the tide. The Blues seemingly in control, taking the lead at the 12-minute mark. Centrals steadied, regained poise. And with 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes, Lounder kicks his third and they lead by 17 points.
And once again, Eddie Hocking, the player who got the hard touches, reflects the ball out, the kick forward, and the big man in front. Neil Curley, match-winning move, bringing on Hocking. at the 19-minute mark of the third quarter. And suddenly Central's are 17 points clear as we almost enter time on. 3-goal bursts from both sides. Bubner opposed to Reynolds. Reynolds the tap. Underwood clear. The kick behind his opponent. Painter. Oh, brilliant play. Reflex. Field. McAdam backing up, supporting Kickett. He's clear. Wide to Handley. Short is Thomas. Clear. Pressure from I. Back Reed. Chance now for Downs. Circles well. Wobbles the kick. Bubner misses. Scott Russell. Mark Pryor getting clear for Kickett. Sturt. Good pressure then, but hanging on Kickett. And the follower, just defensive side of centre, wins the 15 penalty.
Clever use of the body, Derek Kickett. Just covered the ball, forcing the defender to grab. So from the centre circle, swings wide, looking for Philip Graham. He gives it back to Lally. Lally in trouble. Play on was the call. Philip Graham knocking on. Hocking again. Through half forward, looks for Gurdon. Welby will mop up for the Blues. He left it for Mandermaker. He fumbles. Wellesby again. And through Kim Russell, the Blues go wide. Whittlesey loose at centre wing. A high ball. Kitsky sets. Allen spoils. Ratty helps. And the Bulldogs clear the half-back line for a throw in between centre wing and half-forward right for the Blues.
Oh, what excitement when Eddie Hocking gets near the ball. The crowd loves him. Beautiful control kicked in from Kim Russell to Whittlesey. Bubner in front, Handley. Chance for I. Chaplin, run down. In the back, or hanging on, says umpire Thorpe. And Gavin Chaplin. Very effective rover. Bubner in front. David Wellesby a little bit loose. They've been at each other all game, Mandermaker and Wellesby. And the umpire maintaining control.
A throw in at half forward right for the Blues. Mandermaker from behind. Couldn't work it out. Wellesby straight up front. He's got the free kick. So Rudy finally the victor. Into the centre of the ground and the lead from Hocking. Slips it back for Kickett. Looking for options. Short, oh, not good. Interrupting the flow was Richter. Gave it off to Delina. In turn, Whittlesey. Having to go back. Feeds it infield for Painter. Painter to the lead of Walk. Well placed. And David Walk leading well from that full forward spot. Certainly has a chance now for his third goal. Concern, no doubt a Bulldog supporter as Walk goes in on a 45-degree angle. The kick looks good. Good execution. Number 3 on the board. Number 10 for the Blues, and they trail by 11 points.
Well, Whittlesey again the player, setting up Painter, and Painter's precise kick to the fast leading Walk. And that tactic against Mark Botka has been very effective. So Sturt's turn to come back. Now within 11 points, 2 straight kicks. And it's been a finely balanced game all day. First one, then the other. Reynolds opposed to Bubner. Bounce favours Reynolds. Scott Russell. Aggressive play from Chaplin. Trapping the ball. And the little things counting in the third quarter. Reynolds the easy tap, but Handley secures. McWilliam has done well against Graham, and that one hand, 2-finger take is why. Centre wing, Delina. Short, For Whittlesey, very effective in this term. Direct player. Short again for Scott Russell. Rather, it was Kim. Now it's Scott. Wide. Chance for David I. Will it bounce? No. McGrath trapping the ball. Wide to the boundary. McAdam. Eyes on the ball only. Off to McGrath. Looks downfield, but on the back play is Carl Delena.
The Blues keeping the ball locked in their forward region. Carl Delena across field looking for Wellesby well down there. Sturt fumbling a little. Got it back through nicely for Kickett. He's in trouble. Robbed of it by Reid, the half-back line to Underwood, but three-quarter time. And Central's gaining 1 point on their half-time lead. 12 goals, 80 points. They lead Sturt 10-9, 69 by 11 points.
Umpire Hilton, the bounce down to start the final quarter at Elizabeth Oval. And the Dogs leading by 11 points, having extended their half-time lead by 1 single point. Kickett, forward looking for Hocking. Got a strong mark from John Richter in the last line of defence. Very even duel. Chipping short and finding David I. Again, the controlled kick for Kim Russell. Sturt back to midfield. Movement ahead of centre. Wide they go. Looking for Andrew Underwood. Malcolm McGrath at the back. Scott Russell hanging on, no ball, but not sighted by umpire Hilton. So an even duel. Central leading by 3 points at quarter time, 10 at half time, and 11 at the three-quarter break.
The bounce at centre wing. Allen taps it away. Chaplin infield. Pryor over the top. McAdam will be loose. Nicely to Jamie Thomas. Back to Pryor, but Whittlesey is right with him. Pryor working it well. Hocking getting in the way. Pryor beaten by Richter. Good tackle, Hocking. And Hocking will get the free kick at half forward right for the Dogs. So the Dogs supporters had not all that much to smile about. Welrow Girdham. Infield for Hocking. He could have done it again. The shot is on line. Hocking. Well, he was on the ground for 30 seconds in the third for his first, and now puts the Bulldogs 17 points clear.
Well, Hocking's blinding pace forced the free against Richter. He then kicked well for Mandamaker. It was spoilt. The long hand pass out, and Eddie looked, ran through half forward to goal. What a character. Had some difficulty playing out a full game last week. There's a bit of a switch hitter off the interchange, but lifting the Dogs today. Keith Allen takes a turn, opposed to Reynolds. Kickett, Graham, wends his way to Chaplin. Clear, wide, Kim Russell, opposed to Gilbert McAdam. Decides to go to the safety of the boundary, and the ball just making its way over. So the Dogs' first blood at the 2-minute mark. That touch of brilliance from Hocking.
The Bulldogs a little happier with that first goal in the final term. A vital one to get. And Hocking forcing to the boundary line. The umpire's pulled out a free kick. It will go the way of Andrew Downs. He's had his hands full playing the key centre-half back role. The Bulldogs lost their skipper, Rene Van Dommel, before play. He had a full driving muscle, and McGrath went straight into the 18. Fine mark pulled down by Shackey, but he's almost down to a half-back, the centre-half forward. His kick clears the centre spot. From behind, McGrath spoils well. Working across field, Underwood, awkward kick under pressure. Is straight across field. Delena will get there first. Good pace. Gives off now to Scott Russell. Infield. And well read by Mark Pryor. So the Bulldogs rebound. Sturt looking forward to the free kick. Kept the body on the ball. Chaplin. Underwood gets the hand pass. Field gives it across. Wide comes Scott Russell. David I now at centre wing, across to Delina. Whittlesey ahead, through half forward. A long bomb to the square looking for Shackey. Brady at the back, helped out nicely by Keith Allen, who finds Kickett and the Bulldogs out of defence.
Controlled movement, the wobbly torpedo, Steven Lally the runner. Can he keep it in? Does so. Space, Richter in front of Hocking again, and Hocking the recovery. Lennon, all met Hocking well. Richter off, Painter. Lennon. The chip pass to Scott Russell. Good movement by both sides, good ball carriers, controlled, skill level high. Goes across the field looking for Kitsky. Unattended. Peter Bubner slack. Gave Damien Kitsky 5 metres. 1 goal in the third quarter. And 40 metres out with little breeze to contend with. An important kick. It's just short. Off hands, chance for Sturt. Oh, good pressure from the Dogs, got the numbers there. So in the goal square, 5 minutes into the final, and Central's by 17 points.
Reynolds against Bubner. Kim Russell taken down against the Tide. Game Shackey. The ball, another bounce as the Bulldog defenders smother. McAdam indicating some message. Kim Russell's in opposition to him now in this final term. Nice tap down by Reynolds, but the Bulldogs getting the numbers in. Schwert there. And the other side was McGrath. So they'll smother and work this ball away from the danger zone. Reynolds again getting the tap. The bounce favoured McGrath. He slips it wide for Kickett. Under pressure, kicking to the space. And on the back plays Johnny Painter. The Blues have got the numbers back here. Driving short. Whittlesey continuing to work hard. A long kick in through half forward left. Cross goes Brady. To ground goes Kim Russell, and the ball will be thrown in the left forward pocket.
Central District's holding sway. Just enough pressure. Kim Russell in a little bit of trouble there. Bubner in front of Reynolds. Reynolds over the top. Lally back to Swert. And Whittlesey. Now the Sturt's wall and structure has been good. Just need a player or two up front. That's a good penetrating kick at the back walk. Vodka gets it out. Scott Russell. Pryor, the spin turn in trouble. Lally, Kim Russell. Wellsby. And Painter again on the back plane. The ball's clear for McWilliam. Time to steady. Place the kick. And well received by Downs. Rather Scottfield. The rover. Chipping forward, looking for Underwood. And that's a well-placed kick. Now, Underwood is a prodigious kick of the ball. Originally a forward, centreman, playing mostly off the half-back flank. And certainly within scoring distance if he gets onto this ball. Penetrating kick high to the goal line, just offline, hitting the goalpost. And there's now 16 points in it.
Both sides hitting the woodwork twice each now. As Bodka prepares to take the kick in going long, looking for Allen. Gilbert McAdam front spot. Allen feeding it out to Pryor, changing direction to Hanley. Depth in the kick, clearing centre wing. Back goes McWilliam. The bounce favours Graham. Around McWilliam, chipping nicely over to find Mandamaker. Gilbert McAdam's loose at centre half forward. Rudy will find him. The ball comes across and McAdam bolts. Tried to kick long to the square. Back goes Lounder. And the umpire giving the free kick to Richard Lounder. Andrew Downs coming in the same way as the ball. And Launder, who has kicked 3 goals so far, has been an awful danger up in the front of goal. The Bulldog supporters, although 16 points clear, not in a happy frame of mind as yet. Two-pronged attack of Launder and Vandermaker as Launder kicks number 4, and the Bulldogs to a 22-point lead at the 9.5-minute mark.
And that's controlled football by Central Districts. Bringing the ball back into the centre was Philip Graham, found Vandermaker. He played on to the wingman who had moved into the space at centre-half forward. The penetrating kick to Launder, 1 out against Downs, and Downs infringed. Well, had little option. A technical free, but umpire Hilton in the spot. Allen still on the ball against Kitsky, who wins the tap. Girdham, McAdam. Puts it wide for Hocking. McWilliam covers up. To Wellesby, just short. Richter. Lennon. The runner was McWilliam. Kitsky, can he get through a centre? On his own and trapped. Good pressure, Thomas. Oh, shocking hand pass. Wellesby, Scott Russell is wide, McWilliam back. Alone is Delina. Painter is clear. Good pressure from Pryor. Girdham, supported by Sturt. Chipping short to McAdam. Good ball control. Back to himself, to Lally, the runner. Chance for Field, but too high the tackle, and Lally the free.
Steven Lally, a big kick getter. Drives through half forward. Hocking up high again. Oh, landed on the backside, but he bounced up quickly. Cleverly done once more. Drives deep to the lead of Rudy, and that was a beautifully placed kick from the boot of Eddie Hocking. Vandermaker, 1 goal kicked in the first term, now playing at centre-half forward. Certainly within distance, an acute angle and a cross breeze. The ball will hold up in the square, and a good mark taken on the last line by Kitsky. Slips it over the top ball. Lennon left it behind, recovers, but on the back play is Thomas. Kicks it back to the centre-half forward spot. Oh, and Hocking again. Oh, don't they love him? The little man. It means so much to this Bulldog attack. 2 goals since he was literally let off the chain in the 3rd quarter, and the Bulldog has bounced out to that arena. He's directly in front. The distance shouldn't be a problem. And goal number 3 on the board. And that could be the nail in the coffin to the Blues. The Bulldogs lead by 28 points.
Well, there's a touch of magic about Eddie Hocking. The mark he took on the half-forward line was brilliant. And that mark against opposition from Richter showed his ability. So now the crowd is alight. And the Dogs have the first 3 goals on the board in the final quarter, and seemingly a clear. David Eye a spell. Darryl Smith comes on. Girdham. Central's winning the square. At the back, Launder. Eddie Hocking the dash. Number 4.
As the kick came in from Girdham, Long, the little fella, was there, fleet of foot, timed the run to a nicety, and number 4 in a match-winning performance of 1.5 quarters. The Bulldogs by 34 points, 13 minutes into this final term, and a goal which would be a sealer. Kitsky gets the thump. Girdham working hard. Against the tide, Kim Russell. Whittlesey forward. Scott Russell through. No supporting run. Chips away to Smith. He's just come onto the ground to replace David I. And Darryl Smith, the veteran, kicking short. Whittlesey continuing to work. He's a Trojan, this fellow. Drives it into the goal square. The tall timber's there. The Bulldog defence is disciplined. David Walk, well done. Magnificent hook shot. Walk kicks his fourth. Tremendous performance, but they trail by 28 points.
Reward for effort. The ball wide to Whittlesey from Scott Russell. And Whittlesey looking for his big men up front. We're not able to mark, but Walk with the high kick off the ground in mid-air scored number 4. Well, that's worked against Botka, but Central's too much scoring power the other end. Allen, Delina, Girdham, very physical Central in the square. Lennon first back. Time to evade. Good tactic, good pressure. Holding the ball. And Steven Lally wins the free. Well, he'll be about 40 metres out. Has 3. Graham on the fast lead. Spoilt by Whittlesey. Out from Reed. Good play. Short. Field. Oh, aggressive play by Sturt. Underwood to Scott Russell. Has the options. Walk in the square, goes high. Post to Botka. And coming back across the pack is Shackey. Pryor. And Central District's far side clear.
All Blues out there. On the back play is Darryl Smith. The ball not favouring him by bounce. McAdam comes in. Cleared over looking for Kitsky, who couldn't bend. Playing the ball into his own path. Still there, the big man, but the Bulldogs get the numbers. Underwood helps out. Awkward looking kick from McWilliam. The tap out not on. The loose one to Chaplin from the centre circle. Bangs it into the half-forward line. Lennon couldn't read the bounce. Wellesby gets the running support from Downs. And the Blues up over the centre wing area where Field gets up high. Oh, he was off. Lucky. Girdham paid a 15-metre penalty against him. Field kicks to centre half forward. Brady's there. Sturt trying to knock it forward. Gets the free kick in opposition to Underwood. Stephen Sturt, who's been a big defender. Rudy gave the nudge out but couldn't control it. Reynolds on the back play. As far as Kickett, time to have a look. Into the space. Downs has read it well for the Blues. From half back, chips it up high looking for Wellesby. Oh, across the top, Whittlesey, but unable to control it. The throw in between centre wing and half forward left for the Dogs.
The exhausted Greg Whittlesey, A for effort. What a player. Reynolds in front. Painter, Scott Russell. Delina, Moskeny, through half forward. Allen on the dive. Trapped it well, supported by Brady. Back to Botka. Slipped the tackle, wide to Thomas. Goes for the wobbly torpedo. Over Hocking, Downs. Touch of the fumbles. And back to Wellesby. Whoops, also a touch of the fumbles. That's pressure. And time for Richter to go wide. McWilliam to Painter. Back to Darryl Smith. And they're now clear.
Centre wing, driving up high to the half-forward line. Walk out in front of Botka. Good ball control, but he had no running support still there. McGrath interrupting the flow. Forces to the line. And it will be a throw-in. About 50 metres around from the behind post. Richard Lounder coming off to the plaudits of the local crowd. He's kicked 4 goals. And back on goes Anthony Ingerson as the Bulldogs work the ball out of defence, gaining valuable meterage to their half-back line for yet another throw-in.
Lounder playing well and being a real problem for Sturt up forward. One goal with a brilliant snap. Curley has coached it well. Used his tactics, used Hocking is the real attacking player and how it's worked. Thomas, Darryl Smith. The wobbly kick for Kitsky. Back for Underwood. Chance with the left foot. Shoots! And again off the left-hand side. And Sturt's accuracy has hurt. It's 24 scoring shots to 22. But on the scoreboard, there's 27 points in it.
Kickett getting high. Darryl Smith at the back of the pack. Wasn't a good hand pass, but it might carry to Scott Russell. His pace carries him clear. Looking infield, finds Scott Field. Again Underwood. Long to the square, David Walk. Number 5. Well played, David Walk. The herd were descending upon him, but he didn't move ground, didn't falter. And a snapshot for his 5th for a 22-point deficit now.
Sturt refusing to be frustrated in that forward line, controlling the ball well. Field, Moskini, Scotty Russell, and eventually to David Walk, who just had time to snap it on the boot. So Walk's done well with 5, and few players able to score and get clear of Vodka this year. Button the back on for a run. Reynolds tapping down to Delina. Thomas the quick kick. McWilliam back. Richter out to Downs. Centering the ball, looking for Scott Russell. Good place work, Thomas. That's the torpedo kick he looks for. And at the back of the pack, Rudy Mandermaker. Off to Ingerson, the chip. On the last line, though, and in front of 8,845 players, the Dogs continue to draw ahead.
Well, people, as the big kick in comes from McWilliam, and Reynolds takes on the half-back line. Reynolds to Darryl Smith is injected a bit of a run into this blue side, into the centre of the ground. Scott Russell using the body, gave up to David Walk, but a high tackle ruled, and the ball will go back for Scott Russell to take the kick virtually centre circle. Whittlesey continuing to work and create, but Kickett across his path. Kickett still there. Whittlesey, however, does it well. Into David Walk. Drives across to the lead of Kitsky, but in the way was Pryor, taken by Painter. Scott Field, not quite. And back goes McGrath. He's well tackled by Field. Pryor in over the top of it. The loose one out the back. Botka goes for the white line, succeeds, and the result is throw in about 30 metres from the behind post.
Good teamwork by Centrals. Pryor diving regardless of damage or injury. Botka to the safety of the line. Allen, Kitsky. Pryor off to Chaplin. McAdam is wide, reversing the play, he finds him. Plenty of movement now for Gilbert McAdam. Chips for the line. Can Downs get there first? The ball to touch. The perfect kick to touch from Gilbert McAdam. So 22.5 minutes into the final quarter. Centrals 22 points clear and seemingly in control.
Throw in between centre wing and half forward left for the Blues. As Underwood is well caught, knocked on by Reynolds, tapped further afield for Delina. He's through half forward, switching to the lead of David Walk and back Kitsky, and interrupting that was Handley. That was well done. Kickett gives the lead at half back. Swing it wide, well protected by Lally, drives up to find Girdham, and he has been a big workhorse today, Roger Girdham. Floats the kick in through half forward. Cross goes Allen. Keeping the ball in play is McWilliam. Up to Reid, now Downs. Tor held onto it too long, taps it back for Reid. Thomas took him out. Ingerson went infield looking for Handley. The loose one's back for Lally. Past Whittlesey and gets the free kick for a trip. As Steven Lally, good workhorse. Infield, Peter Bubner loose on the corner of the square. Mandermaker gives the lead, Bubner obliges, and Rudy's got the ball inside scoring distance. Good lead, swinging wide. The option seen by Bubner, and Mandermaker with only one goal against his name, kicked in the first term, has had chances. This time he should be within distance, little angle to speak of. Keeping the ball low, it's accurate all the way. Number 2 on the board to Rudy, 17-1 for the Bulldogs, and they're back to a 28-point lead at the 24.5-minute mark.
Well, a little bit more ball control up front. Bubner placing the kick in front of Mandermaker. Sturt perhaps overdoing their use of the handball in defence. Good pressure from the Dogs. And they race further clear. So although Central's only led by 11 points at three-quarter time, there's little Mervyn Kane can do now with 5 goals to 2 for the Dogs in the final quarter. Reynolds opposed to Bubner. Reynolds the tap, intercepted by Bubner. The dash off to Chaplin. Lost control. Whittlesey. Smith, Reed. Pryor read it first. Used his pace well. Has Hanley, Bubner, Lally, and Brady. Goes off to Kickett. To Bubner. Lally. Philip Graham. Back to Lally. Brady at centre half forward. The centre half back, quite confident. Chipping and finding Eddie Hocking. Well, Eddie Hocking has kicked 3 goals in this quarter, 1 in the third. And it's 40-45 metres out. Just offline to the left for another point.
So perhaps a little disappointing in that last quarter, Sturt. They managed just 2 goals, whereas Central District kicked 5 goals and the Bulldogs won the match by 29 points. Lounder and Hocking kicked 4 goals each for Central District. Lally kicked 3 and Mandermaker and Handley kicked 2 each. And for Sturt, Walk was their chief goal kicker. He kicked 4 and Shackey kicked 2. After the match, Jerry Harrison spoke with Central District rover Steven Lally.
Steven Lally, very well played today. Good creative game from you and 3 goals in the process. Happy with your form?
Yeah, reasonably happy. Happy with the whole team's performance, really. Haven't been beaten at home for the whole year, so we're just happy to win again.
Well, after last week, you knew that you would have had a tough fight. 3 points, 10 points, 11 points, leading at each of the 3 quarters, and then 5-2 in the final quarter.
Yeah, it was good 4 quarters. We started off really well, actually, and they caught us up in the first quarter. We're going into a bit of a breeze, but overall, over the whole game, the guys worked pretty well, and everyone's pretty happy.
Starting with Bubner in ruck, gave you a 2-pronged attack up forward with Mandermaker and Lounder, and you really played the game very well on the ground.
Well, it's good to have Rudy back, actually. He took a lot of strong marks, and that's what we've been lacking over the last couple of weeks. So, but it's good to pick up a couple of goals, but the main thing, winning, really.
Well, the 3 goals are very important. One senses that you're very confident shooting for goal. Twice you played on.
Yeah, I haven't kicked many points, which is handy, but young Eddie Hocking's come on and kicked 4 too, and that helps out a fair bit too.
Well, Sturt were really pushing you. Their endeavour was very high, and the introduction of Hocking in the 3rd term really turned the scales in your favour.
Yeah, Sturt are always going to be hard to beat. They're a different side this year, and we know how they play now. They play the same sort of game as other hard-running sort of games, so they'll be pretty tough to knock over in the finals.
Well, you're still on top of the premiership ladder. Keep up the good work. The finals aren't far away.
Yeah, well, three or four games to go. We just got to look at next week now, and it's North Adelaide at Footy Park, so pretty tough assignment there too.
Well done today. Good luck for the future.
Thanks very much, Jerry.
Well, David, a Central a grand final side?
I think Central's have got every possibility of playing off in a grand final. One of their greatest things they've got is so many options up forward. Mandermaker doesn't kick goals. Peter Bubner comes on. Little Eddie Hocking, you just saw, kick 3 or 4 goals. Even Richard Lounder kick 4 today, so there's another option there.
What about... Sorry, David.
Plus their defence has been fairly settled. Craig Brady's had a great year at centre back, Mark Pryor, and of course Scott Leedon played today as well.
I was going to say, you're obviously keen on Central for the final. What about Sturt's on what you've seen of them?
Well, 2 weeks ago, the North Adelaide boys thought that Sturt were the best side they'd played this year by about 500 miles. The last 2 weeks, well, they got thrashed last week by West Adelaide, and today they got beaten, which was perhaps how everyone thought it would go. But Sturt are a very good side. Next week's an important game for them. If they can come out and beat Port, well, they're going to be a big chance for the finals as well.
What about Sturt? How much are they missing Wilmot?
I think they do miss Wilmot, even though Kitschke a couple of weeks ago kicked 7 goals. Wilmot gives them that extra option up forward. He's a big, strong lad, and he kicks his 4 or 5 goals every week. When you've got Wilmot, Shackey and Kitschke there, really it's a formidable forward line.
All right, thanks, David. A good win.